Spent a lot of time last time around on simply one test. If you remember, it was just one test we did last time. It was max and my brakes. It was the cantilevers versus the V's. That was the only test we did. Do you remember why that took so long to do? What were we doing that day? Predominantly, what were we doing that day? Do you remember? It was one hypothesis test, was it? That's why I said keep it, don't turn it in. I want you to hang on to that one. What took so long to do? Do you remember? Right, we had to have two variables. Oh, the numbers took us seconds to put into our TIs. And crunching the data, once we knew it was a two-sample t-test, we just hit boom, gone, done. What took so much time? Do you remember, Jerry?
Come up with the equation.
Thank you, sister.
Just
Yes!
how we're getting it, so we're not just plugging numbers in.
Yeah, blindly plugging numbers into a machine and blindly having a test that thing come out. We had to derive that standard error. That was it, that formula for that standard error. Now, you will never ever use that again. Much the same way that we never ever calculated a standard deviation by hand again. Much the way we never ever calculated a confidence interval by hand again. But I feel remiss pedagogically just teaching you guys how to push buttons without understanding what's going on behind the button pushes. Once you understand, golden. Absolutely golden. And that's why I love the exam question. First of all, tell me why Pam Purdue is wrong about the p-value and then answer the question correctly. I love that. Because it forces you guys to keep thinking about that big idea. That big idea.
What's the big idea?
You'll see in the exam. What's the big idea?
So I saw this on YouTube or whatever, the p-value. I was still like, what the hell is it? I was asking Tamara this. It was like, so I Googled it or whatever. And
Did you find Pam Purdue's answer?
The probability of the null hypothesis being correct. Is that a good way of wording it?
I'll tell you what, I'm not going to answer that question. I'm not going to answer that question because steam's coming out of my ears right now.
Sorry.
Not because of you, but because somebody posted that as an answer.
Okay.
Somebody posted that as an answer. Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question. This is a tie-off to that, and then I'll let it go because you have an exam question on that answer. If you knew the probability of the null hypothesis being correct, if you knew that, which is what the p-value is, right?
Okay.
What's the point of doing the test?
There's none, let's not do it.
That was a big if. Because you don't know the probability of the null hypothesis being correct. That's why I'm not saying you're ridiculous, Tim. The answer you found, which I'm sure is the one I'm referring to on the exam, is patently absurd. If you knew that's like saying you know mu. I know the population average. You do? Really? That's incredible that you know that.
But we get that from doing the test, right?
You guys know that too. That wasn't in my head.
Yeah.
Okay. You get a p-value.
Yeah, but isn't that?
Shh. I'm gonna stop it. Leave it at that. Because you have an exam question.
Okay.
I'm gonna stop and settle down.
It's gonna be okay, Sean.
Can we do like take breath?
We're gonna get it.
Okay. Oh, I know. The thing that worries me is the internet is full of those. That's the problem. That's the problem with anybody posting anything at any time. And especially something as slippery as a p-value. It's not an easy thing to define.
Yeah.
JC, go ahead.
I just said that's the problem with statistics. We are here to learn how to interpret them the correct way.
Yes.
And to go and look at the sources and back it up and figure out clearly. And that's what we're learning.
And this is the argument I always have with academics who think that you should be learning just how to plug numbers into formulas. And this is what I go through all the time. So I agree with that statement wholeheartedly, which is why I want to leave the answer as something you're going to find out for your last exam. There's 10 points, I think, in your last exam is answering that question properly.
But that's if we get the p-value and it's less than 5%, that's going to the
You're putting a nubbin on your question. Hold that thought.
Really get my head wrapped.
Yeah, and we will continue to do so.
Okay.
That's kind of the point of the last bit of the class together here, is to just keep doing that idea. Yeah, and that. Anyway, I'm gonna leave it at that too, because I was thinking about actually tying the article to your exam and having you guys read the article too, but you got enough to read. You don't have to read that too. If anybody wants it, I'll be happy to send it to you. It's a fantastic article. All right, data sheets, please.
So on the test, can we just fill out one of these?
That part of it is filling out one of those. Yes, but one of the questions, I think the first question says.
To the test?
No, I said if you need one, I can email one to you, or you can stop by the office and get one.
Did I just miss that?
No, I didn't even say that. You'll read it on the exam though. It says like fill out a template for the first 10 points. Just like a quiz essentially for the first 10 points.
Okay.
And then a couple of them, there's a couple other tests you'll do in the exam that I don't require the entire template for. You'll just do a p-value and a conclusion, which is what most of the articles do in the world anyway. So you'll see everything you need to see. It's fairly long. I think it's like an 8-page document, but it's because there's a bunch of graphics pasted in, a bunch of screenshots, as well as some other stuff. So, okay, all right, data sheet. So last time it did Max and me and the brakes. This time we are, here we are. I think it's page 1. Yeah, it's page 1. Let's shut this guy down.